I'm highly spiritual. 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 I'm highly spiritual.
Peace and love, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Emotional Podcast. My special guest today, she is a conscious extraordinaire. Welcome to the podcast, Kim Alfano. You there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm there. What I'm here.
I said, welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk about consciousness.
Yes, we're in a new time, a transitional period for a lot of people who are coming out of the old world into the new world and finally waking up. So introduce yourself. Let us know more about
Mhm.
you and your journey and where you're at now.
Okay, so my name is Kim. I created the name Higher Vibes because when I awakened 2 years ago using magic mushrooms, so psilocybin, I wasn't aware of vibrations. I wasn't aware that there was even a thing called awakening. I was really just trying to relieve my suffering. And so I was awakened to this world that I didn't know existed, but it had always been there. And so it was there, but it was on a different frequency. And so, what a lot of people don't realize when you talk about this new earth and this new world, they can't see it because it exists on a different frequency. And so once you raise your vibration, so that's why I like higher vibrations. Once you raise your vibration, you take the veils off your eyes, that new world, that new earth will reveal itself to you. And so the higher vibrations is what I do. I help people raise their vibrations.
Yeah, it's dope to see people in our age. I'm 35. I'm not sure how old you are, but it seems like we're in that new age of spirituality when it comes to our appearance, when it comes to how we talk, when it comes to what we represent. And I feel like the new earth is more of a mental construct in which you tune your frequency to. Is like, yeah, I have tattoos, I have diamond teeth, I wear jewelry, I cuss, and I say all this. It is peace, love, and light internally, but I also learned how to manipulate my shadow because that is true alchemy in the spiritual form. And so a lot of people, when they may hear me say something or hear how I appear or sorry, see how I appear in, certain things, they may not know at how spiritual I truly am when it comes to, my appearance or how I appear within their matrix. But if you can tune into my frequency, which is on the resonation of that new earth, then you'll be able to understand and understand where you reside spiritually. So
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Like one thing that you must do on your spiritual journey is transcend judgments and allow yourself to be authentic. So, the tattoos, whatever you want to use to express yourself, like it's all self expression. It's all part of merging with your higher self, whatever helps you to feel good.
So when you first worked when you first sorry awakened or woke up, how was the transitional period for you? Did you go into the hero journey where you try to save everyone? Did you like go through this journey of where you was like, oh, I can't do that no more, or this? Like, how did you transcend into your spiritual presence now?
So, it was like a little bit over 2 years ago, and I was just suffering like most people. A lot of people are in their, the suffering stage of the pressure cooker. And so I had this like moment. It was like one random day my life was like quote unquote normal. I'm walking into my kitchen. I had taken my microdose that day, and all of a sudden the veils were lifted from my eyes, and all these things were revealed to me, what people call downloads. They started flooding in about reality and everything not being what we thought it was, like this matrix, this simulation, everything is vibrating energy. And so I was like, oh my God, like, I had the ego death, the expansion of my consciousness. And I was like, wait, so is this what they call the second coming. Is this what this is? Like it's everything is within you. You're shifting your vibration. And so at that moment, I felt like I got to tell everybody, oh my God, like they've been blinded. This is not, that's not the truth. Everything we've been told, like I need to tell them. But then I stopped myself and was like, wait, they're gonna think you're crazy. Like, how are you gonna tell these people this? They're gonna call you demonic and say, this is Satan's work. And so I went through the a deep dark night of the soul, like where I just kind of like isolated myself and just kind of like sat there. Well, what I did during the dark night of the soul time was studied quantum physics, neuroscience, and like I was like, well, I got to figure out how I'm going to explain this to people in a way that I have like science to back me up to where if they do say things like crazy, I can say, here's the documents. Like this has been studied. It's real stuff. And so the last thing that I just experienced, the last like really big lesson I experienced is like I was still caught in like people pleasing, thinking that that was what unconditional love was. Like I have to basically sacrifice myself. You know what I mean? Still put myself around those toxic people where they're not respecting me, but I'm thinking like, oh, this is what unconditional love is. Like I have to just like save these people and show them love. But like I was neglecting my own self-love. And so I transcended all of those different programs, if you will, and realized like if I'm not happy and I'm putting myself around these negative energies, like I'm sacrificing my everybody. I can't help them if I'm feeling like crap.
Yeah, that I mean that's the truth. Like that's kind of where I've spun back around is like at first when I got in, I was like, oh shit, let me go through my peace, love, and light state. So everything was
Mm.
meditate every day. I'm a peace and love, brother. I changed my words, etymology, start, doing all these different things. And then I would say like the new resonation or resonance of reality now is I was neglecting my shadow and I became this like trying to please people by being peace, love, and positivity and be this good person. And then so it got to a point where my shadow was like, yo, you're gonna have to not only work with me, but you also gonna have to integrate me because you're sitting here trying to pretend you're this peace, love, and light meditation motherfucker, but people out here taking advantage of you. How long are you gonna allow me to be pushed aside when people are taking advantage of your trying to do right, trying to do good, trying to do that? And now where I'm at the point where I'm learning how to live in my true authentic nature. So if I know this is not a beneficial relationship with me, and it comes from like loved ones, even family. Like I had to tell my mom, like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like I love you to death. I fuck with you. You my dog. You my mom, right? But at the end of the day, like no, because I know that you are taking advantage of me because you perceive yourself as superior than me, and you're my mom. You have that entitlement of parent. So therefore, you will invalidate me. And I have to say, no, because it starts with loving myself first. And when I do these things that push myself aside, then I'm not giving myself true, authentic love in which I deserve. And that's what people don't understand. Like that is integration of the shadow. I have to allow that, which is in some sense, it's not really light and dark. It's just true you being authentically with
Mhm.
yourself in a line because all of this is you no matter what version of yourself, no matter what bad day, good day, whatever it is, God, the devil, Jesus, Buddha, so on and so forth, this is all you. So at that point, to
Mhm.
be truly authentic with yourself, you have to be aligned and then just, speak your truth. And then if you do fuck up and your shadow takes over, then you come back to that point of self accountability, which is like the four agreements. Always do your best. So at that point, I think that a lot of people like they miss it. Like they miss it or they're forced into that place where they're like, "Oh shit, maybe I'm not as spiritual as I thought I was in a sense."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah, and like guilt and shame too, because we say yes sometimes because we feel guilty or like, well, I have to say yes because it's my mom, or you feel obligated, and that's like that's not good for our, us. That's not authentic, truly. So, I went through a lot of stuff with my family too. Mom, dad, brother, sister, like they're not understanding what journey I'm on. Like they're still stuck in that old programming and feeling like, well, you should be doing this and that for us. And, I just can't do things from the energy, the frequency of guilt anymore. I refuse to feel guilty.
Yeah, I
How do you
mean,
feel about
what are you about to say? What are you about to say?
like so man, the spiritual like how do you feel about like family members and like not talking to them anymore? Like in the sense of unconditional love and forgiveness, but having to cut people off. That's one of like the hardest things that I've come across.
It's I mean it's super hard. Like I'll explain like my relationship with my dad. He for some reason just can't get out of the hell realm. No matter how many times that I bring positivity to him and try to give him that benefit of helping himself, like pretty much all the bullshit that he did to me, it's like bro, I forgive you. Like that shit don't really matter to me because I'm thankful for it now. And when it comes to him, it sucks because sometimes there's this energy in which he wants to like pull me down and be on his side and drop into that lower realm. And so what it is I've learned that it's not about cutting them off completely because then I'm no better than them. It's like kind of attack. It's like swinging a sword, knowing that I'm at a level and I'm stronger than you. Like spiritually, mentally, consciously, this is where I'm at.
Mhm.
So I'm not doing any justice by cutting you off because you are beneficial to my reality, and you only wear that mask based upon the mask that I'm wearing, based upon the mask that I put on you. Let's put that out there. But not only that, I've learned to find the lesson in every conversation and also implement my light in which they can grow from, because every conversation that we have, all we're truly doing, and this is with everyone, this is with anyone, is planting a seed. Like I'm just planting a seed. If you are unconscious, I'm just planting a seed with you. And I can outer stand, like on a quantum standing point, I can look at this interaction, this exchange, right? I'm looking at it happen and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna just plant the seed. Boom. That's like, let me press X on
Mhm.
the quantum controller of controlling this reality. Let me hit X, and X is plant the seed, or circle is to hang up the phone, or to ignore the conversation, or force yourself, or leave. Like all these little buttons. But in the
Mhm.
event that when I'm aligned with my true self, like Christ consciousness or whatever they talk about,
Mhm.
higher consciousness, it's always an opportunity for me to do better. So with this low vibrational family member in my reality, because they might be high vibrational to somebody else, they might be able to give all that advice to someone else, but you're low vibrational in my reality. So I sit here and I look at it as kind of like a plant. Let me just water you. Let me just water you. Oh, okay, you growing. Okay, or you're dealing with this. Well, let me not allow that to affect me because I don't want to emotionally be connected to the things that you're saying. Let me listen to the context. And then I don't, it's kind of like when you're meditating, I don't have to pull down every thought that I'm having and focus on it. I can take a thought, look at it, and be like, all right, boom, let me get back to the breathing. Let me come back to my awareness, or let me grab another thought. It's the same thing. I don't have to hold on to these conversations. All I have to do is look for a chance where I can water for the sake of that
Mhm.
seed sprouting into a flower, a plant, a tree, or whatever it is. But internally, we have to also accept that some people in this lifetime, they just may not get it. They might not be able to make it to that new earth, or that Christ consciousness, or that positive and
Mhm.
peaceful place, but they still serve a purpose in your reality.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's deep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, planting the seeds, that's exactly what it is because that's how I look at social media too. Like I know there's a lot of my family members following me, and so when I post certain things, I'm like, okay, this will help them and this will help them, and like I know they're watching this. So yeah, it's all about the seeds. I noticed my mom specifically. She was just in a dark place, and now she's sending me like manifestation stuff, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm like, "Really? Okay." So you're hearing me. I'm like, are you watching it though? And she's like, I mean, I watched some of it. I'm like, no, you got to watch it. If you're gonna send it to me, you need to watch it, you know? So it's crazy. Like those seeds really do sprout into flowers. They blossom.
Yeah, it just has to be their choice. And I think that's what people who are transitioning, I don't think like I feel like most people who say that they have a issue manifesting their reality or manifesting their life that they want, I think what it is they don't know how to accept it, right? So before you even manifest anything, you have to accept the situation that you're in. If you're in a low vibrational state, acknowledge that and then work your way out of it, right? And then not only that, you
Mhm.
have to be happy. I have to be happy for the life that I have. I cannot receive anything more if I don't want what I have. Does that make sense? So we'll
Mhm.
overlook our situations. We'll think that we're in this bad situation and want to manifest something more, but we haven't even acknowledged our situation and appreciate it for what it is. You have to find the lesson in every single example. So it's like a lot of people, they'll talk about having issues in manifesting the reality in which they want. And I know you talk about this too, but I want to get your take on it because I see like a lot of people who are like, oh, manifestation isn't real, or I can't manifest a man, or I can't manifest money, or I can't manifest this. And I'm like, bro, you gotta be aligned. You gotta be in line. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, they're not looking at what they already have to be grateful for or accepting the situation that they're in, right? Like you said, they have to accept, okay, I'm here, right here. This is what it is, and I want to get to here, but a lot of people too, they have these, so say you want to be rich and famous. But subconsciously, you believe that that is evil, it's greedy, all these subconscious programs that are blocking you. Like the money thing is huge because 100% of people want more money. Like that's just what it is. Nobody's sitting around saying, I don't want more money. So, like, but in your subconscious mind, you're like, money's evil, it's greedy, like all these things is such a you're counteracting, contradicting the manifestation. So that's one of the biggest things I've noticed.
yeah, it's like when you want to manifest your future, and that's the thing. Everybody wants to be rich and famous. Let's keep it a band. Even I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
speak for you, but let's be real. Like we want that because the things that we believe that we can do, but then subconsciously you have to also believe that subconsciously there's certain programmings that is either a stopping you from manifesting that future, or there's even a higher version of yourself that says, hey, I don't think this is technically the route to be rich and famous in this aspect because you'll have to compromise yourself. I mean, you look at everything on the headlines and social media now, in which the old world is mass market with the media, right? At that point you'll realize that there's multiple people in this event that's happening that had to sacrifice who they were spiritually, like let's
Mm-hmm.
spiritually to be successful, only for it to come around and them to realize, and the world realize it's an event that's happening, to realize that maybe that fame, that success, that money that you think that you want may be not worth it spiritually. And you thinking that that success, by looking at it, by comparing your reality to it, you think that you deserve that type of success, but spiritually, your spirit is like, hey, we not doing that, bro. Like we're not
Mm-hmm.
we're not compromising us. But you won't accept that about yourself because you're so caught up on watching what's playing out in the matrix.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Because the old ways, people are so like caught up in, well, those people had to sell their souls and do all these things for fame, but like there's a new fame that's here now, and we have a message that humanity needs to hear. And once people realize that their message is important, and the more fame you get, the bigger your audience grows on social media and your podcast and all your platforms, the more that those people can hear that message, like you have an important message. And when you see your followers go up to 1 million, you're like, these are all of these people that are resonating with my message. And that's fame. That's what I feel like fame is, like, and so I follow this girl, this woman. She says the old soul came here to be famous because of the message we have to spread. We came here to be rich and famous because of this message for humanity. And it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense to me. How do you feel about that?
I was gonna say, I mean, it definitely makes sense because, like the way that I look at, because I'm black and black, I hate these constructs. I'm
Mhm.
black, and so therefore, when it comes to like black culture or hive culture in a sense, what it looks like is that when it came to being rich and famous, it was more about being less of yourself. And now, in this new world sense of rich and famous, it's not really money because it's more about a creating a system in which you can survive based upon your connections through your projection of being aligned with God. And so like that's kind of the new fame. It's like, are you helping people? Because when it comes to like manifesting my reality, where I'm at, I'm gonna be honest. I read the book The Surrender Experiment, and it kind of like it made me just like say like the one prayer for my life, and I don't pray. The one prayer for my life is God got me. And by believing and understanding
Mm,
that God is in me, around me, a part of me, a piece of me. This is all God, the experience of God, good or bad. It made me realize because I sat back and I looked at my life, like when I used to be on lean, when I used to fuck all these women, when I used to be this person that I don't align with now. When I thought about this, I sat back and I reflected and I was like, fuck, God was actually with me through all those times. When I was in
mm,
that hospital bed and I overdosed on prescription medication, God was there with me and taught me how to be still. I was alone. It was just me and God and my mom. Nobody knew I was in the hospital. Nobody knew I had died. Nobody knew I was in a vegetable state. It was just me and energy. Like even when I died, all I
mhm.
remembered was being
Yeah.
liquid in a liquid state. So at that point, it was like in my reflection time, I was like, fuck, this whole time I'm thinking I was this bad person, this fucked up man, this fucked up nigga, this fucked up being. I'm thinking I'm this bad person, but God was just sitting there and was molding me because now, bro, I got a testimony. I could tell people like, yo, hey,
Mm,
when you having sex with this many women, you're literally taking on soul ties, and this will manipulate your reality.
mm.
You're taking on her trauma. She taking on your
Yes.
trauma. Now you living in
Mhm,
this bowl. Anytime you drink liquor, you get stuck in the past because literally what is keeping you as a dense state or a low vibrational state. So therefore you stuck in yesterday. And then when you have that hangover, you literally getting rid of yesterday to step into the now. And so therefore you have to go through that purging sense of all these things. And then when I start realizing this about my life, I was like, damn, if I just learned a lesson on the first woman I had this toxic relationship with, I wouldn't have had to deal with all that shit. But I dealt with this so many
mm,
times. Now I can tell a toxic woman from fucking 30 miles away. I could be like, yo, no. You know what I'm saying? I can tell a
mhm,
toxic friend from a room, all these different things. I can look at
mhm,
social media and be like, nah, bro, this is literally a way to siphon energy. Like this is just what it is. So what I realize is that all that bad shit that I went through, and this is for anybody who's going through bad shit right now, because some people are still suffering. All the bad shit that you're
mhm,
going through and went through, and you will go through, all that shit is still a connection with God. Whether you're going through good times or bad times, God is forever present. And so I think that when we realize that we're aligned with that, that's really what we're doing. It doesn't sound biblically or religious, but all I'm doing is having a conversation with God to bring more people in a meeting or bring God into their life. And then once you become aligned with that, hey, you could just take your hands off the wheel. and just
Wow.
experience it.
Right. It's that simple, right? To say God got me because our egos are always trying to control everything. Oh my God, that's deep. I haven't read that book, The Surrender Experiment.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
it's a great book. I'm a reader too, and it's one of those books where like I read it, but if you just think about it, you think that you were controlling your life, right? But really your subconscious and your spirit was controlling it, because there was things that like you forced yourself to do and they didn't actually turn out in your favor. But if your spirit literally like you just allowed it to take over, you would probably still end up in the space that you are, whether you got emotionally attached or not. If you took all your emotions out of it, because like now it's not as emotional of a state for me. It's not like I'm not emotional about things. I'm more of like, let me see what this is about. Yeah, I got some emotion towards it. Why am I so emotional towards it? But then, like, for the most part, most of my days, I just don't really give a fuck. I'm just having fun. I'm a big ass kid. I'm a child. Let me
Yeah.
just live in it. That's really where I'm at. So
Yes. Yep. I live by that too. Like, um, you know, to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must be like childlike. So like playing, being present. I always remind myself of that when I get too serious. I feel like, hey, none of this is actually like real. We're just making it so serious, you know? Like, how about we just like go to the beach? How about we just like blow some bubbles, you know? We get so serious about it. Man, that's deep. We just need to play more. That's a great message.
I mean, life is a video game. This is GTA.
Yeah.
Why not have fun? Why not do the missions? Or, why not ride around in the car and hey, just see how fast you can go. Hopefully you don't get caught. Like that sounds edgy, but like
Yes.
that's fun. Shit, I didn't get in trouble. I'm good. I
Right.
caught myself like riding a roller coaster is extremely fun, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's where we need to be energetically and vibrationally. We need to be aligned with that, because then you can enjoy your experience to the max. Like there is
Yeah.
no failure. To fail is to quit, and at that point,
Hmm.
I don't think that we're gonna quit living unless we die. And at that point,
Right.
you might even live on a whole nother level. So
I was just gonna say that, and we don't even really know if death is. I mean, honestly, I don't. Would I remind myself when I get like scared or if I feel fear, I'll tell myself in my mind like death isn't real. Just think about which timeline you want to shift over to, and that takes my fear away instantly. Instantly thinking about quantum immortality. I don't know if you went down that rabbit
nah,
hole,
let's talk about it.
but
Let's talk about it. That's what we're here for.
okay.
What is
Yeah,
it?
so quantum immortality says that so if you're on your ascension lifetime, which if you are aware of new earth and like higher consciousness, you're on your ascension lifetime, meaning you're basically immortal. So in a timeline to where in a moment where you would have died, you shift over to a timeline where you lived. And so like say, have you ever had this weird feeling like you did die? Like clearly you said you went to the
I
hospital.
have so fucking many. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have like 10. I look over to my
Yep.
wife. Listen. This is I like we just having a conversation.
Okay.
This ain't no regular interview. Look, my wife was my side chick for like 3, 4, maybe 5 years, right?
Mm,
I look over at her and I'm like, yo, this shit fucking worked out. You're my wife for 8 years now. We have 4 kids. When we first started dating, I told her I was like we just joking around on some young folk type shit, and I was like, look, how many kids you gonna get me? She said, as many as it takes to get you a son. Our first kid together was a son. I look at my wife sometimes and I'm like, bro, are you sure we didn't die? Are you sure that this is real? Because if this was me, the old me in the old timeline, with the depression, with the drugs, with the women problems, with the self problems,
mm,
all this shit, I never, I promise you, no matter how many times me and her talked, I never believed that it would be like this. And it's like this.
Mm,
So that's the thing. You saying that has my mind going crazy because I felt like this so many times that now I can't die.
yeah. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. Death is a program. Like, honestly, think about it. People are programmed to age where they do a ritual around a cake, they chant, they blow the candles out to make them age. It's all programming. You are on the new earth, which means you're ascending, you're immortal. That's it. That's what it is. And sometimes I'll tell people that, like, I'm like, hey, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm immortal. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I don't die, you know? And I love seeing people's reactions to that. they're scratching their head, like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, so quantum immortality says you will shift over to an alternate timeline where you lived. I actually like one time I went through a traffic light and I felt like I had gotten to a car accident and died. And I got on the phone and I was like, I just got into a car accident and died. Like, but I'm still like here. And they're like, what? And this was before I was even spiritually awakened. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, I swear. I swear. And so when I heard of quantum immortality, I was like, oh my God. So I actually, in another timeline, did die. It's mind blowing. It'll bend your mind. It'll
I
bend your
I
mind.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I was because it reminded me. I got this book on my reading list called The New Earth, and
Uh-huh.
so that's on my reading list. What is this book? Yeah, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
So
just
so,
read that.
so that's on my reading list. And like the more that you have me thinking about this, I'm like, fuck, because I tell my wife, I'm like, bro, there has to. I'm pretty sure that we died, and because
Mm-hmm.
we had this car accident, but I had a dream about this car accident for like fucking like 3 months. I'm having this dream, and every dream that we have, or every dream that I have about this car accident, we die, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one day I was in the car with my wife and my children, and we're on our way to Maryland, and it's raining from South Carolina to like North Carolina. It's like raining bad as fuck. I'm talking about like super duper rain. And what happens is my car hydroplanes,
Mm-hmm.
and in my dream, this is the same thing that happened in my dream. My car hydroplanes. I rotate the wheel to the right, it spins, and what happens in my dream is that my son, who's behind the passenger seat, he flies out the window. What happens is the car spins, we hit the little side railing, and then the car turns off, and a truck, semi truck, comes down and clears us up out the road. Like we're done, we're out of
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Then there was like ideas in my head. I was like, oh shit, my son ends up surviving. He goes into foster care. This, and that. All these things happen. But in real life, this is what happened is the accident happened, but when we spun because of the dream, I took my hand, placed it on my son's chest, right? We're spinning, we hit the guardrail. After we hit the guardrail, the car stopped, turned off, right? My son didn't fly out the window, but a semi truck was coming. And literally, I told my wife, I was like, yo, this is the dream. I cranked the car. The first time it don't cut on. The second time it cuts on, we fucking drive, dip, and then hop off the exit. And I told her, I was like, yo, I had this dream so many times. But every now and then I look over at my wife and I say, I think we died in that car accident. And the earth that we living
Mm.
in is completely different because I've never seen it working out how it works out now. Never.
Oh my, that's insane. Yeah, you shifted timelines.
It's
My
weird.
man. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild stuff. Like, man, I took like a year, right? After I had my spiritual awakening, I saw through the veils of illusions and I took a year of just studying like quantum physics. Like, okay, what is this reality then? Like, what are we in? Like, what can we do though? My one question was like, what powers do I have? How
Same.
do I use my powers? You know what I mean? Like, how do I use my powers? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make something appear like right in front of me. Like, I know I can do it. Like, I know the superhero movies, they were showing us like those are the powers we have. And now we've entered in that timeline where we can use them. How do we activate them? You know what I mean? Like how what have you discovered? Like have you studied all that stuff?
Nah, you gotta tell me you first. I want to hear what you talk about. What are your gifts? What are your powers?
So, okay. So I can read people's minds really easy. Like I can know everything about what somebody's going through. And it's like I don't even try. I just like get it all. It just downloads straight to me. And I can shift timelines easily, easily shift to different timelines and just like I've mastered like manipulating energy. So that's like one of my biggest, which I think all we all have those gifts. It's just about not limiting your mind because we use our logic mind. Our logic mind messes it all up. Like, well, that's not logical for this to happen in this time. And it's like, well, time isn't real. So if you're using time, then you're stopping yourself from whatever you could experience, you know? So, I mean, money, I've mastered like money, truly. I've released all of the fear and the greed and all those programs and just like collapsed all of that into the present moment to where I'm able to just kind of pour it in whenever I like it's not even need because I don't use the word need because when you need something you push it away from you. But just like honestly the shifting of the timelines is one of my main like masteries, the quantum shifting. What about you?
I would say I'm a quantum jumper.
Mhm.
I definitely astral project, but when it comes to my empathic gifts, right, I can take on someone's energy and feel literally all of their pain, but also I cleanse it. So
Mhm.
like anytime I hug somebody, what I do is I take all their sorrow. So let's say imagine like
Mhm.
this. Let's say this is a video game, right? So every day I start my energy with 100%, right? That's how most of us we wake up with 100% energy. When I go to the gym, I get a plus 20. So now I'm at 120. When I read a book, right, I get another 10. Right, I might drink some coffees. Coffee give me a little 5% energetic boost in which
Mhm.
I can move around and talk and think. Right, every single interaction after I'm done pouring in myself takes away my energy. When it comes to
Mhm.
people who are dealing with something, I can energetically heal them and in exchange for their energy, their hurt, their grief, their anger, whatever it is, I can take it from them, put it onto me, and then in exchange give them love, gratitude, and peace and understanding too. So when it comes to
Mhm.
like that superpower gift, the only burden about that gift is that I have to rest. I have to be done. I have to know, like, even me, I have to consciously know, like, okay, this person took about 80% of my spiritual essence, my energy, my peace, positivity, love, light, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to chop it up to. I have to acknowledge that and say to myself, okay, I need some time alone. I need some time to rest. I need a today's done. I need to go pour into me. I need all these things. So when it comes to like those spiritual gifts, and then like at times, yeah, I can read somebody's mind, but not on that sense of how you're speaking. It's more of like I can energetically feel emotionally how they're thinking. So it's like, okay, bro, I can tell
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
you're dealing with something, and it has to be something like money related, something,
Mhm.
relationship related. I can tell off the energetic, it's like an energetic signature within them. I'm like, oh shit, this person and this person, they're dealing with the same energetic signature or frequency. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
how my gifts are for sure.
Yeah, I actually have that same gift, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. I feel, and sometimes you have to put some days you have to put that guard up to where you don't allow their energy in. You know what I mean? Because some days I'm like, I know that I can't handle it right now. You know what I mean? Like I got like a lot of shifts going on within me, so I'm just like I have that guard up, but I have that same thing where I'll go hug somebody or even just sit next to them and boom, I immediately feel everything they're feeling and like, okay, you're going through some things, you know? But yeah, but we're master alchemists and we know how to transmute energy. So That's what, that's what one of our gifts. And also you can also use that energy to create things with. So like if you go around somebody who's in a lot of pain and you absorb it,
That's how I
you
make
can
songs.
transmute it.
That's
Yes.
how I
Oh, I
make
love that.
like I have songs, and I've been doing this. I didn't realize it at first, but I'll have songs where, like, let's say like when I would do studio sessions, I have like five people in the room, and this person
Mhm.
will be having like a disagreement with their wife, and the song, without them even telling me, the song will tell them that they're dealing with this and this is how they're feeling, and they will resonate with it. And I'm like, bro, my fucking marriage is good. Like, me and my wife are great, but this song is, it's sad as fuck. It would make you think that I was in a miserable relationship. And then I started
Right.
realizing the more people I connected that with, I was like, yo, oh shit, this isn't about me. This is you. This is a song. This is your song. This is your
Mhm.
energy. So that's facts. That's
Oh
facts.
yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Yes. And then yeah, yeah. So like making music for like the other people because you're basically receiving their energy and you're putting something out there for other people to resonate with, to help them move through whatever they're going through. Yeah, that's real healing work right there. Music is, man, everything, honestly. I used to rap actually.
That's fire.
I used to sing and rap.
That's dope.
Yeah, I want to get back to it. Like I was like rapping and singing back in the days when I was like, little hood girl and stuff like that, but now I'm wanting to make healing music.
That's where I'm at.
So,
That's exactly
yeah.
where I'm at. I can't make the same music. It's not to say I can't. That's cap. That's a lie.
Hmm.
I don't feel as connected when I make like just trap music. Now I'm at a
Hmm.
state where I've learned to like combine trap music with spirituality. So it'll be a trap beat,
Yeah.
but then the song will be positive. It's about manifestation, or I implement the
Mhm.
shadow while implementing the light. Like, I'll say something specifically that's low vibrational, but I'll counteract that low vibrational statement with peace, love, and light, or how meditation is healing. All these different things. And
Yeah.
then that's back to what you said, alchemy. So I was like, okay, this can not only resonate with someone who's going through something, but it also can heal them by them understanding where I'm at. So that's where it's at now with it. So yeah, I mean, you could
Yes.
do it. You could do it for
I
sure.
love that. And you can plant seeds in other people's minds who wouldn't like listen to like the other type of spiritual music where it's not trap like. So you could plant the seeds in those communities of people who are like not knowing what manifestation is. Like you're basically teaching and reaching different people with that. I love that.
Yeah, like shit.
That's
Imagine if you
amazing.
in the club, right? You let's say extreme. Imagine you in the strip club and you throwing them ones. She going crazy. Like, imagine this happening, right? You off the liquor. You didn't pop, some drugs or something, right? And out of
Yeah.
nowhere, you hear me say, diamonds on my teeth. Now they see it when I speak, right? So you hear that part, and then I say something about meditation healing me. You hear that, and you like, whoa,
Yes.
what the fuck? Meditation. Meditation. Hold up. What the fuck? You know what? I'm gonna leave this club, and I'm gonna imagine that in the
Yes.
craziest scenario that happened. Somebody could be dealing with
Mhm.
something internally, and that resonates with them, and you're like, fuck, this right here, like this
Yes.
one bar, this is what I need in my life. And that's where I'm at
Yes.
with the conversations, with everything that we're talking
Mhm.
about. It's always one thing that is going to help somebody because they're looking for that. And I think that's what all this is about. When we talked about like the message and God and this awakening, that's all it is. All it is for someone to find acknowledgement or resonation
Mhm.
within the conversation or the music or the book or all these different things. One
Mhm.
thing, and it will awaken them and help them transition
Mhm.
into the next chapter, the new earth, the new world, the new reality.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I love that. That's great. Man, that's great stuff right there. Hmm.
so in what ways do you feel like understanding quantum physics and spirituality work together in real time now so that people can apply this like to everyday living situations, understanding
Hmm.
how all this works together?
So simplifying it, the simplest way is your thoughts because it all starts with a thought. So thoughts are things. That's like the way you can really think about it. Like, okay, what are you thinking about right now? Get some paper out, write your thoughts down, the ones that you're thinking right now. And then you look at them and you go, whoa, if these thoughts were to create my reality, would that be like, say, heaven? Would that be like your version of heaven or would that create your version of hell? And that's where you start right there. So if you're thinking thoughts like, I suck, I'm ugly, like life is terrible, all these things are bad, like if those thoughts are creating your reality, you're going to experience like hell. So, and then I'll say, okay, go on a different page. Now write down all the thoughts that you would have to think to create your version of like heaven on earth. Okay. And now you go there. Now you keep switching back and forth. Like, okay, these thoughts are those thoughts. Which ones? These thoughts are like, I'm abundant, I am loved, I am fine as hell, or like, I'm cute. Like the ones that would create good feelings. Because so a thought created over and over again creates a belief system in your subconscious mind. Your brain is like a supercomputer. Your subconscious mind is your programming. So, whatever you're programmed with, that's what you're going to run on automatic. You're going to be automatically moving through your day with those thoughts. And your reactions are going to be based off your subconscious programming. So, it all starts with a thought. That's the
Do,
key because your thoughts are actually going out into like the ether, you know? They're not just nothing.
do you feel like a lot of people have to, in a sense, because I read that book, or I'm reading that book by Joe Dispenza, the what is it called, Becoming Supernatural. And
Mhm.
so with that, it's like, do you think the reason why a lot of people struggle with this is based upon like still living in their subconscious trauma?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. They still relate with they still relate with like all the bad stuff that happened to them. They're walking around like, well, my dad did this, my mom did that, this happened to me, that happened to me. And so they're tied to their past. They're not able to anchor into their dream life, into their future, into that new version of them because they're so tied into all of that past trauma. It's programmed into them, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's the like it's so hard to overcome that. And I like I think
Yeah.
that when you can shed the identity of who you think you are, then you can take on the new identity of who you want to be.
Hmm.
It goes back
Yes.
to um when you were saying that you said quantum jump shift realities, right? So
Yeah.
when it comes to like shifting those realities, and this was kind of one of the things that I had to learn when it came to quantum jumping, is that there's a period in which you have to shed the old version of yourself too, because
Hmm.
you're taking on this identity. So I went from like being in the gym all the time, right? Or before that I was doing music heavy, I was on my rapper shit, then I went to this. And then when I turned my or chose my new avatar in which I wanted to be, or who I am, which
Hmm.
is a more wiser version of myself, I had to shed the old version of me first. And it was like bad eating habits, it was watching negative shit, listening to negative shit, not being in tune with me, going to the gym and taking pre-workout, which made me itch and
Hmm.
made me feel like I was crazy. Like I had to
Yeah.
go through a stage of like stripping that. And I don't think that's what people
Yes.
are ready for. They're not willing to let go who they thought that they were.
Yep. Yeah. It's the comfort zones. People are always seeking comfort. And what's crazy? This guy, his name's Gary Brecka, and he studies like human biology, or he studies like how to like basically reverse aging. And he says that aging is a progressive pursuit of comfort. So his name is Gary Brecka. This guy is incredible. And he
How you spell
says the
his
more you
name?
seek
B
GARYBRECKA.
got you. Found him.
Yes. He says the more you seek comfort, the faster you age. So that's why the cold plunging is good for you. It's uncomfortable, you know. The saunas are uncomfortable. Like things that you wouldn't normally do those things. Make yourself uncomfortable. And guess what? You will live you can reverse your age too, biologically in your DNA. You can make yourself younger. There's so many people that are doing that right now.
Yeah, at 35, I mean, I feel younger at
Yeah.
35 than I did when I was 20, when I was in my 20s. I'm not gonna lie. And I have gray hairs and shit now, but I don't know. I still don't feel like I don't feel old, in which they
Mm.
said we would. Like 40 doesn't even sound like how I feel, because it's like 35, bro. I still play video games. I still smoke weed from time
Yeah.
to time. I still
Yeah.
I run. I still do childish ass shit. I play video games with my kids. We play Fortnite
Hmm.
together. Like I still feel like a kid. Like I talk shit to them. Like, bro, you just lost, bro. You just sold me. Like it's not. I don't feel like
Yeah.
this old ass dad, and I feel like aging because of where my mind is. I feel like it has came not completely to a stop, but it definitely has slowed down. Even time in which the reality that we're living in, I feel like it just moves slower for me a lot of times. Like I don't feel like it's flying through. Like in a sense, like every day feels like it just feels like one day. It doesn't feel like a week went by, but
Mm.
then someone would tell me like, "Yeah, bro, today's the 37th." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "The 37th, bro? Like what the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in that sense it's like, bro, I didn't even know time was moving that fast." So, aging, yeah.
Right. Same here. I feel younger than ever too. Truly. I feel young, like I'm 33 and but I won't count any more years on top of that. So Prince, he said he stopped celebrating birthdays. And he said because birthdays make you age, you know, it's a ritual. So you could literally stop yourself right here at 35 and not claim anything over that and just stay there, you know, like I was saying about immortality, because everything is so ritualistic. We live in a magical realm where obviously everybody, what do you call them? The elites, they know magic is real, so they put these rituals in our everyday life that we are unaware of. But once you become aware of them, you can stop using them against yourself.
How do you feel about, like, far as like the elite talk, like, the Anunnaki, the reptilians, the Black Hand?
Yeah.
How do you feel about these things now? Because these are extreme conversations and topics that happen to a lot of people when they
Mhm.
first get woke. Like they go down that rabbit hole, man, and it's like the
Yeah.
world is ending, bro, and it's like, nah, it's not, man.
Yeah, I know. I was scared at first. I was like, man, if I talk about all these things, like they could kill me, but honestly, I don't give them any attention anymore because I realize where you place your attention is where you place your energy. If you're constantly talking about, I mean, yeah, making people aware of it is good, but like fearing it, I'm like, no, my vibration is too high for them to do anything to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm aware now that, have you ever heard of like the seed planting thoughts in people's minds? Like, if you don't know who you are, you could get a thought planted in your mind, and that's deep because I've had it happen to me before. I've actually had, I don't know where it came from, but it was like a year ago, thoughts that were not mine, and they were like they were terrible. And I was basically like this. I was like, "No, oh my God, like what's happening to me? Like what's going on? Like I know these aren't my thoughts, but I couldn't get them out." And so one thing is that if you're unaware of yourself and who you actually are, you could get down the rabbit hole of the elites and the reptilians and get yourself lost in a dark place. Instead of transcending that and saying, okay, I'm aware that there was these people or beings and they did all these things, but now their time is up. You could get to that place where their time is up and it's our time now. There's nothing they can do. There's too many of us talking about these things, you know?
Do you feel like, do you like I feel like there's so many ways in which I look at it, because when people talk about like the reptilian, right? I think that there's now, besides just the reptilian and draconians and these being like these extraterrestrial
Mhm.
shapeshifter beings, there's also a piece of
Mm-hmm.
me that believes that this is a mind state, right? Because to
Mm-hmm.
live in the reptilian mind state, shapeshifter, right? You're taking on everything that is given to you, politics,
Yeah.
fucking sports. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Mass market media, all these things. You're literally shape shifting. Especially, let's talk about scrolling, right? Every time you scroll is a new
Yeah.
thought, a new emotion subconsciously, right? So every time you
Yeah.
scroll, you are the reptilian in the point of where you are shape shifting.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I do believe that there's these draconian reptilian shapeshifter physical beings, but I also believe that now the program is so encoded in a lot of us that when you tune into that frequency, that program, like you said, that's when you are controlled and you become the reptilian. You know,
Mm.
in that sense. What do you feel like?
Right.
Go ahead, go ahead. What you about to say?
I was just gonna say because well, okay. What if this was a video this was a video game? This was a level in the video game. We created those beings to like give us some type of like because we needed growth, so we needed some resistance. We needed something like the bad guys in the game. You know what I mean? Like to like beat the bad guys, but like to go to the next level, to evolve. But like that's one thing that comes to my mind a lot. Well, like, yeah, I created these beings, like these elite reptilians. I created them for this video game that I'm in. So it's just like part of me. You know what I mean? So if you look at it in that way, it's a lot less like I look at things like that. Like everything is just us. Everything's me. I'm you, you're me. They're us too, just at different frequencies. And you could say we created them for this video game that we're in. And now we go to the next level because we awakened and we see the truth. That's a
Yeah.
lot of different ways to look at it.
No, it's actually deep because then I'm sitting here like, okay, re- draconians and reptilians, they've been controlling the world so long and so on and so forth. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
what if they haven't? What if we just wanted to believe that they've been controlling things for so long,
Yeah.
but they really weren't? So we created them in a sense of like like you said, like level bosses, or in a sense, it's like, okay, well, once you get strong enough, you realize that they're not really in power. It's actually us who's in
Mm,
power because
yeah.
we designed them. We like once you realize, okay, like, well, what feeds them, what makes them that strong is the perception of your mind. So if you feel
Hmm.
like energetically you're connected to politics and the banking system and nine
Yeah.
11 and all
Yeah.
you're emotionally controlled by this stuff that you're indoctrinated to participate in, it's like once you transcend beyond that, it's like that shit doesn't really like it doesn't really matter. Like I get that it matters,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't
Yeah.
because at the same time, no reptilian is coming to my house. Donald Trump is not going to show up at my house. There's no way he's
Right.
walking to my house. If he walks to my house, we have a lot to talk about. At that point, I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
we're affected by all of these constructs, these beliefs, and then when you realize it, when you live your everyday day-to-day life, you realize that the person who is truly in control of it is you. You're in control of it. You're in
Yes.
control of what you do with your day,
Hmm.
what you tune your frequency into. So
Yep.
if you turn off your TV, you turn off your phone, none of that shit really exists.
Yes. Yes. And like the book, The Four Agreements, too. So, what agreements have you made? Have you made an agreement that there's these people, these things, these beings like controlling you? What agreements have you made? That's like I actually just finished with that book, The Four Agreements, too. And I asked myself, like, okay, what agreements have I made that are like stopping me from being the next version?
That's when we identify a societal construct. When you just limit yourself to being a woman, a man, a Christian, black,
Hmm.
white, so on. When you just
Yes.
limit yourself to just that, well, that's your matrix, that's your constructs, that's your
Yes.
ceiling. And so therefore, that's the agreement that you made. I agreed to just be this. I agreed to
Hmm.
just have this, and therefore I feel like you got to rewrite that shit. You have to kind of like let that shit go and learn to figure out
Yes.
who you are and who you want to be.
Mhm.
So,
Right. Yeah. And it's crazy because I say that to my husband. I'm like, hey, remember, you're not Andrew. That's not who you are. I have to remind him sometimes. We remind each other, like, hey, remember, like, you're pure consciousness. Like, you're not. And I'll be like, oh, yeah. And he'll say, oh, yeah, that's true. Like, and immediately snap out of it because, sometimes we get caught up in this game and we think it's all like real until we remember we have the power. So, and we are pure consciousness. We're not this body at all. And that's where you really snap out of, like, if you have a moment of fear or worry, you just snap yourself out of it by remembering who you truly are, your true form.
which is nothing while being
Nothing.
while being something like
Yes,
yeah, that's the
nothing and
fact.
everything.
I was gonna say, so I seen that you you opened a kava bar. Was that it?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what is that? How did you get into that? And what are the effects on it?
So, kava is a root of a plant from the islands of Fiji, from Hawaii. So, they've been drinking kava like out of little coconut shells for centuries. They would have ceremonies and they would drink the kava. And it's really calming. It's anti-anxiety. It binds to your GABA receptors. And so all of your feel good receptors. It's actually part of the pepper family too. So it's just this very euphoric plant. And how I found it was so before, like right before I had like my spiritual awakening, I was, I struggled with alcoholism and addiction. And I just couldn't figure out like how, like, how do I stop? I have this anxiety. I don't know how to get rid of it. Like, what do I do? Well, I was looking up bars actually. I was looking up alcohol bars because I had just moved to South Florida and I ended up at a kava bar. I was like, wait, what is this? There's no alcohol here? And they're like, no, this is kava. And I'm like, what is kava? And they started to explain it. And I'm like, are you serious? I manifested this. I was like, I created this. This is exactly what I was thinking, like I needed it. And I walk in, then I try the kava. Immediately, all anxiety gone, all like any type of worry, fear, any type of like cravings for alcohol or anything was like gone. And I was mind blown, truly. And like, there's like no negative side effects. It's just pure like peace and relaxation. And there's so many people that are switching from alcohol over to kava. So it's saving a lot of lives too.
What so is it like in a sense of like a psychedelic feeling, or would you say like what would you compare it to when it comes to like the
Yeah.
the drug form
Yeah.
in comparison to this? Like what would you say?
You could say it's nature's Xanax. Yeah, it's nature's Xanax. So it's very, whatever type of anti-anxiety meds you would want to compare it to. It feels just like carefree. You feel so peaceful. No anxiety at all. You're just like, there's not a care in the world.
What does it taste like?
So it tastes like muddy water, muddy planty water, but people add creamer to it and it tastes like because if you add the creamer, it doesn't taste bad at all. It doesn't taste like planty water, but a lot of people don't mind drinking it like that. But like if you can't drink it like that, you just add a splash of creamer and it just tastes like just like creamer kind of after that.
Hmm. Yeah, it sounds interesting because I was like I had looked it up, but I still I was like, why like what does this exactly do? Because I can't drink liquor because liquor messes
Mm,
with my stomach, it messes with my body. Like I have to have like a 2 day rest period even off like the smallest drinking way is that it like affects me.
yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if this is like in a sense I thought it was like kind of like shrooms, like you hallucinate and stuff like
Mm-mm.
that. So I'm guessing this puts you in a sense of like really relaxed. So can you mix it with like food? Can you mix it? Is this the only way to consume it?
Well, I mean, you don't really want to mix it with food. You just want to drink it like so it's the root of a plant. So they grind it up, they put it in, like you know what a cheesecloth is, how you would make tea. So it's a cheesecloth. It's like a big, huge bag. It's like a mesh bag. You put it in there, you tie it up, and you put it in warm water, and you massage it into the warm water. And then that's what creates like the kava that you would drink. And you just put it in a little bowl. And because they drink it in bowls, we like to keep it traditional. Put it in the bowl, and you just drink it like that. And you just like chill and enjoy it. You want to drink it in that form. You don't want to mix it with anything except like creamer, or you could put like a juice or something, I guess, if you wanted to. That would be fine. But yeah, honestly, people love it.
Where do you
People
get it
love
from?
it. People are choosing from Fiji. So we have this guy who started a bunch of kava bars here in South Florida. And he had a connection to somebody in Fiji that has a kava farm. So he brings all the stuff straight from Fiji, flies back and forth. So we get it like straight from the island, which is like amazing. So it's like real deal.
Do you dabble in like any like plant medicines when it comes to like naturally healing yourself?
Yeah, I love mushrooms. That's my main thing. So mushrooms, kava, I do like kratom as well. There's a lot of negative connotation around kratom, but for me it really like saved my life. So mushrooms, kava, kratom, those are like my main things besides like herbs and stuff like that, like valerian, burdock root. I dabble in all of those different herbs, but I stick with the natural healing. Anything that's a plant, I I do it. I love it.
What's the highest dose that you took with shrooms? You took a hero's dose?
No, I haven't. I haven't, but I do heroes doses for people all the time. I sit with them. I just sat with four people. They took 7 grams. And I just kind of like sit there and watch them. But like 2 grams is the most I've ever taken. But I know I'm due for a hero's dose. I am.
Yeah, I told my wife, like I was like, look, I'm ready to go beyond the veil. I know I'm gonna have to go down before I go up. But I have to be in a place in which I cannot overpower anyone, and I will be
Yeah.
safe. I don't want to break anything. I'm not gonna lie. The perfect place would be nature's version of a white padded room for me, just because I want to be that one with my experience, and I don't want anything to
Mm,
interfere with what I'm experiencing. But far as like the dose, I hear about it all the time, and I don't know if like I'm ready for that, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
yeah.
Gonna do it.
Honestly, yeah, like I thought it would be different than what I observed these people. They just kind of sat there. They didn't say much at all. And a lot of people that I sit with when they take a hero's dose, it's not what you think it is. It's not people freaking out and like crying and screaming. They're very still. They're going within themselves. So they're just sitting there. Sometimes they get up and I'll just say, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything okay?" "Yeah, I'm good." And I'm just like, wow, like this is wild. I would have thought like they would be like screaming and crying, but no. No. It's 7 grams, even 5 grams. It's not like what you would think it is. It's honestly a lot chiller than that. Maybe you might cry, but you're pretty calm, you're pretty chill, you're pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it. I'm
Yeah.
ready. Um, I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. I would love to do this again. I'm gonna start and this is just an announcement for
Yeah.
anybody who's watching this, but I'm gonna start doing lives because I want to connect with more people. We want to spread this message. We want to be able to interact with people per the episode and like answer questions and engage in even bigger conversations because people are cutting online. People are waking up. People are looking for some type of map in which it can help to assist them on where they need to be on their spiritual journey. And that's why we're doing it. That's why we have to connect with people like you and people who are, out here
Mhm.
living their truth and spreading the message. So I want to say thank you. I really appreciate this conversation. Two things that I ask people before I let them go is a book reference and a powerful quote in which people can apply to their lives.
Okay. A powerful quote is thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. And I brought my book, and this is the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Powerful book right here. Powerful. So those two things right there.
Well, I'm gonna add that to my book list. I think I already have it in there. But thank you
Mhm.
to everybody who enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you hit a like, drop a comment, share with your friends and family, anybody that you feel needs this conversation. And until next time, peace, love, and light.
Thank you.